everyone, welcome back. In this particular video, we will be discussing the problem reverse string. Write a program that reverses a string. That is, given a string as a input, you have to reverse the string and print the output or return the output, which is the reverse string. Let's say the input string is ABC. Reversing it, that is making it from right to left, will give you CBA. And mind that you don't have to just run a loop in reverse order and just print the characters in reverse order. No, just printing in reverse order will not work. You will have to create a new string which is in reverse order and you have to return that reversed string. Similarly, if the string input is triple A, output will also be triple A. Why? Because the string reads same as left to right, right to left. Actually, it is a case of palindromic string. But given any kind of string, any kind of length, we should be able to reverse the string. So let's take few examples. Let's take an example which is my name, which is Archit, and I have to reverse the string, which is of 6 characters. So in the sample input, we were given strings of 3 characters, that is odd length. But right now I am taking a string of even length. After reversing the string, what should the output become? It should say that first should be the last character, then second last character, then third last character, then fourth last, then previous to that, and then finally the first one. Similarly, if I take a string of, let's say, odd length, maybe if I take a string of 7 length, and what can be a string of 7 length? Let's say a simple string which is A, B, C, D, E, F. And how many characters are there? 6 there are. Then let's take G also. After reversing the string, what will you get? You will get obviously first G, then F, then E, then D, then C, then B, and then finally A. But the point is, you will be able to reverse, or you should be able to reverse every kind of string of odd length, even for that matter. If I'm giving you corner scenarios like reversing an empty string, you should be able to give me empty string back because reversing a string of 0 length will give you 0 length only. Similarly, reversing a string of a single character, 1 length character string will also give you the same string back because if you reverse A, it will give you A only. So these can be corner scenarios. However, what can be the approach to solve this problem? Very first basic approach, which I think will come to most of your minds, is just working in the way which I told, that you will have to print the characters in reverse order, working in that similar fashion. That is, I will run a loop, I will run a iteration over the input string from right to left and form a output string because we have to return the string, not just print the characters. Initially, the output string will be empty and we will keep on concatenating the characters, or you can say appending the characters in the output. So initially output is empty. If I take the first example, running the loop from last index, that is if a string is of 6 characters, last index will be fifth index, that is n minus 1, where n is the length of the string. So start from last index, append the character in the output. Go to the previous index, append the character in the output. Go to the previous index, append the character in the output. Then similarly go to the previous index, append the character. Similarly go to the previous index, append the character, and finally at the 0th index you will be able to append the character. So one by one, if you will go and append the characters, you will get the output string, which is the reversed form of the input string. So why I am saying it is a brute force approach? First thing, append operation or concatenate operation in few languages are not constant operations. What do you mean by that? If you are appending a string, let's say TIHCR with a character which is A, or you can say concatenating the string TIHCR with string A, what you will get is a new string, of course, but the time complexity to do it will not be a constant operation. It will be order of n operations. That is, first you have to create a new string of 5 plus 1 6 length, and then put all the characters first from the first string, then from the second string or character, whatever it is. So if each concatenation or each append might take linear inverse case, we are doing n times append operations or n times concatenation. The overall time for the brute force, which we are basically just simply iterating in the right to left order and keep on appending the characters, will take n times n, that is n square, or you can say quadratic time. However, in those languages itself, there is another type of string, or there is another type of function which you can use to append. Let's say if I talk about C++, in C++, instead of doing plus, what you can do is you can use plus equals to. It will help you to concatenate or append in constant time. Similarly, in Java, Instead of using a string, you can go with a string builder. But the point is, if we are talking about a general concept, it will be a quadratic solution. And the space complexity, if we consider the output space, if we consider this strings which we are creating, it will be linear. If we do not consider the output space, it will be constant. It depends on whether you are considering it or not. So let's just write space in two terms. If we are talking about the output, it will be linear. If we talk about extra space, it is constant. But what about a better approach, which might take linear time only, which might not have a quadratic time complexity solution? For that, we are going to use a technique which is known as two-pointer technique. See, it is doing what? The reversal is doing what? It is making the very first character go to the last index and the very last character go to the zeroth index. Similarly, the second character, which is at the first index, will go at the second last index. The second last index character will go at the second index, or you can say the index which is 1. I am saying second character. Similarly, third character will get swapped with the third last character, and so on. Even if you take a string of odd length, first character will get swapped with the last character, G and A, interchanging their places. Second character interchanging the place with second last character. Third character interchanging the place with third last character, and so on. Obviously, D will remain in the middle itself after reversal also. So the point is, we can try to maintain a pointer from the first, second, third, and so on characters, and maintain a pointer from last, second last, third last, and so on characters. That is a pointer starting from the leftmost index, which is zeroth index, and another pointer which is starting from the n minus 1, or you can say the last index, and going to the previous index every time. So both of these pointers will start from the extremes indices, that is 0 and n minus 1. They will reach slowly towards each other. And how they are going to reach? The left pointer, if we are saying starting from 0th index, it will go to the next index, next index, next index. That is index getting plus plus for left. Whereas for the rightmost index, which we are saying right itself, the variable name can be right. We are decrementing it by 1 every time, minus 1, minus 1. So if left is getting incremented by 1, that is left plus plus. The right is getting decremented by 1, that is right minus minus. At some point of time, they will cross each other or they will meet at the same point. So let's do a try run based on this intuition which we have discussed. That is of a two-pointer strategy, because of the observation which we are able to make that the characters are swapping their places. Instead of concatenation, we can just swap. So let's take the first string of even characters, and then we will also do a try run for odd characters. Zeroth index, first index, second index, third index, fourth index, fifth index. The first thing which we can make sure is left will start from 0. That is the leftmost index present in the string. And the other index, which will be the right index, will start from the last index of the string, which is n minus 1, if n is the length of the string. Obviously, if it is not given to you as a parameter, as an input, then you can take it out from the string itself using any inbuilt function. Now what we are going to do, we are going to swap the leftmost character with the rightmost character, but not just one time. We have to keep on swapping till some criteria is met. That is, till some while condition, we will keep on swapping the elements present at the left and right. And what is the swapping, or how can you do the swapping? That you must know using a temporary variable. So how we can swap a variable which is character at left and a variable which is character at right, or you can say strings 0th index and strings 5th index. You can say, let's store one of the variables in a temporary variable. I will say temporary is equals to a. Now you can happily take the right variable and store it in the left variable, because you have stored it in temporary. If you have not stored in temporary, it will be difficult for you. I am not saying it is impossible, but it will be difficult for you to swap the variables. But it will be very easy if you will create a third variable, a temporary variable. So we can take t, we can update it at the left index. And now how to update this value to be a, because we want to swap the variables, swap the values. This value is not a at the left index. This value a is present at the temporary variable. So we can use a temporary variable to update the rightmost index. So what we did, we first took the temporary variable. The value will be taken from the left character. So I am saying strings left index. Then left index value can be updated as the string's right index. I am just writing the string as s. String name can be anything. And then finally, strings right index was getting updated as temporary variable. These three steps will help you do what? These three steps will help you swap the variables present at the left and right index of the string. After you are swapping both the variables, what will you do is you will now swap the next pair. And how will you go to the next pair? By incrementing left and by decrementing right. That is left getting plus plus, right getting minus minus. So left getting incremented by 1, right getting decremented by 1. Again, do the same logic for left index and right index, swap the characters. This will become I, this will become R. Then left incremented, right decremented. This will become H, this will become C. But now see very carefully. We have incremented left, decremented right. Now as soon as you will increment left and decrement right, what will you see is left will go to the third index, right will go to the second index. Now if you will not stop swapping, what will happen? You will again swap C and H which were already swapped. It will again become C, this will again become H. If you will continue further, left will become incremented, right will become decremented. This will become I, this will become R. Again left plus plus, right minus minus. This will become T, this will become A. So actually you will get the same string back which you were having initially. So you don't have to continue after the point that you are able to swap all the characters. And when is that scenario? When left has crossed the right pointer in the odd length, or actually not the odd but even length. For n is equals to 6, we have to stop the swappings when left is more than right. Or you can say till when we have to do the swappings, till the point left was smaller than right. Or right now we can also say it is smaller than or equal to right. But just before writing the termination condition for the while loop or for any kind of loop which you are going to use, let's also take the dry run of a odd length string to reverse a odd length string. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this entire code on the next page, this entire instruction manual, or you can say the pseudocode, and let's take a string of odd length. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 4 and 3, 7 characters. Let me just quickly write the indices. And as you know that the two pointer technique will start from the left pointer being the 0th index, the right pointer being the rightmost index, that is the 6th index in this case, because it is of odd length, last index will be n minus 1 still, which is 7 minus 1. Swap the characters using temporary variable that I am not repeating now. So this will become G, this will become A, left getting incremented by 1, the right pointer getting decremented by 1. Why? The next pair will be second character with second last. This will become F, this will become B. Left getting incremented by 1, right getting decremented by 1. This pointer or this pointer having the values will get swapped. That is, this will become E, this will become C. You will do left increment by 1, right decrement by 1. And now we will check, do we need to swap the characters present at left and right? Even if you swap third index with third index itself, D will get swapped with D itself. So let's say even if you swap, it will just let D present at the third index after swap also. And now if you will do left plus plus, right minus minus, now you can say every character is swapped. So you have two choices. Either you can just stop at this moment only without swapping the same character with the same character, that is same index with same index. So you will say, since third index is not going to have any effect if I am swapping it with third index also, only that is what I will do is I will stop when the left is equal to right also. So in the previous case, when did we stop the loop? When left was more than right. In this case, when we have stopped the loop, when left is equals to right. So till when we have to run the loop, because whatever condition we will provide inside the parenthesis, inside the parameters, this round brackets, that will be the condition when the loop should run, not when it should stop. So when the loop should run, when left is smaller than right, when left was 0, 1, 2, right was 4, 5, 6, we were running the loop. Similarly for even length case. So till the point left is smaller than right is the point we are running the loop. Otherwise we are stopping. So this is the entire pseudocode. Let's just write it in the editor also. And I will write it in terms of the comments, or you can say the English lines. So first thing, in some languages, since you are not able to update strings because strings are immutable in some strings, if you will try and go ahead and update strings, it will take you another linear time. So what I'm doing is, just for being language agnostic, I am creating a character array from the string so that you can just convert that character array into a string and return the output. So copy the input string into a character array, let's say character array name is result, whatever. Now what we have to do is we have to initialize two pointers, initialize left as 0, initialize right as what? As the string's length -1, or you can say n -1, and do the two pointer technique. Run a while loop till the point that left is smaller than right. Because as soon as left becomes equal to right or greater than right, then we have to stop and say that the string is reversed or the character array is reversed. So how to reverse? We can say swap the left and right characters at the left and right index characters in a string, or you can say in result array. And how will you do it? Using a temporary variable. So I'm just writing using a temporary variable. Temporary variable. The spelling might be wrong, but you can correct it. After swapping, what we have to do is we have to increment left by 1 and we have to decrement right by 1. And after this entire two pointer logic, we are done with the reversal in the array of characters, and we can return it in the form of string. Return the result in the form of string. So to convert a character array into a string, you can use some inbuilt function. There must be some inbuilt functions present. Or if your language supports updating the string itself, no need to create a character array. Just directly you can change the input string itself. If you, let's say, don't want the input string intact, you can modify the input string and reverse itself instead of creating a new string. Now let's discuss the time and space complexity analysis of this particular code, and then we will wrap up the first part of the video, and next part we will write code in different languages. So when we say what is the time complexity of the optimized solution, we will say that since we are running a single loop, which is in total working for the entire string length. Why? Because first left pointer will work for the first half of the string, right pointer will work on the second half of the string. In total, the entire loop will work on the entire string itself, that is of n characters. And this is just swapping operations, increment, decrement. These are constant operations. That is, the overall time complexity will now be linear instead of quadratic, because we are not now depending on concatenation or anything like that. What about space? Now, considering the character array, if you have to make, depending on your language, you will say that I will take linear space if you are creating a character array. So I'm just writing character array in the brackets. However, if it is allowed to update the input string itself, then what you can do is then you can use constant space and say that I am just updating the input string itself, not creating any new string. So it depends whether you use character array or not. In some languages, you are bound to use it. In some languages, you can update the same string itself. Let's say in C++, you can update the same string itself. That is in the input. But in Java, what you have to do is you have to do and go ahead with a character array or a string builder, because strings are immutable in Java. Hi everyone, welcome back. In this particular video, we will be writing the code for the problem reversing a string in Java programming language. So since I will be coding in Java, in which the strings are immutable, it means you can't update or you can't swap characters in a string. And in order to swap characters, what you have to do is you have to create a character array or a string builder. So for now, I am using a character array because character array is a pretty common concept, a pretty simple concept. What I will do is I will create a copy of the input string. And what is the function to create a copy of an input string? It is, you will store it in a character array, that is char square bracket, let's say of name result, is equals to the string dot to char array. Whatever the string variable is, dot to char array is the function to convert or to get the character array from the string. That is, convert, let's say hello, into characters having 0th index as H, first index as E, the second index as L, third index as L, and fourth index as O. That is an array of 5 characters, 5 elements. Now, once we have the resultant, we will convert it into a string when we are returning it, because the return type expected is a string only. But for now, the two pointer we can easily apply on the character array by initializing left as 0. We already discussed this, and right as the string's length -1. Now you can use resultant length, string length, it is up to you. So I will say that the resultant dot length, when we use resultant, it is an array. So we have to use length as a property. However, if you will use string, length is a function. So it is up to you whether you want to use resultant dot length or whether you want to use result the string dot length parenthesis. Both are same only because both are of same length. Now what we have to do is we have to run the while loop till the point left does not cross right or left does not become equal to right. That is till the point left is smaller than right. How to swap two variables, two characters in the resultant? We can store the temporary variable and we can update it with the value as any of the characters, as character at left or character at right. Let's say we are storing the character at left, that is the resultant's left character. Now, since we have stored left character, we can update the left character with the right character because we have to swap, make the left one become right, make the right one become left. But how to update the right character? Now you can't say that resultant of right will be equal to resultant of left. For that, you have to use your temporary variable because now temporary variable is where your original value was stored and you have updated already the resultant of left. That's why these three steps will be required to swap two elements present at left and right indices. You can bring this entire code into a function if you want. However, these are just three lines, so I'm writing in the same function itself. After swapping the first pair, that is left, or you can say the first with the last character, now you have to swap the second with the second last, third with third last, fourth with fourth last. So for that, left should be incremented by 1, right should be decremented by 1. And after we are done with the reversal, we have to return the output in the form of reverse string. That's why what we have to do is form a string from resultant. And for that, I can use a constructor of string, that is new string. Inside the parenthesis, I will pass the resultant, or there might be some inbuilt functions also which you can use, but this is the easiest way to convert a character array into a string. That is, pass the character array into the constructor of string and use new keyword to create a new string using that character array. So let's run this code and see if it is going to work for the sample test cases or not. Hopefully it should. If it will not, then we will rectify whatever code we have wrong. So it is working for odd length string. Let's just give a even length string to confirm, and also for corner cases, then we will submit it. So for ABCD, it should give me DCBA. Let's see. It is giving me DCBA. How about a string of only one character? It should be the same. Our code will be able to handle it. You can do a dry run. What will happen is left and right will both be at the same point and the loop will not run at all. That is, the resultant will be the same itself. Similarly for empty string, I am not sure whether empty strings will be there or not, but we can just submit it for now because you can try it by doing a dry run on empty string. It will give you empty string only. There will be no pairs possible which you have to swap. As you can see, all the test cases are getting accepted and the time complexity of this code is nothing but linear. Why? We are running a loop over the entire string for n by 2 times using left pointer, n by 2 times using right pointer. In total, both are working simultaneously. It means it will be n by 2 plus n by 2, which is n only. That is the string's length. That is linear time complexity. When it comes to space, since we are using this character array, which is not in the input, as well as it is not the output because output is a string, not a character array, we can consider there is an extra space of linear space, or you can say linear data structure, which is character array. However, there is no other way to eliminate this space. If you have to eliminate this space, you will have to compromise with the time. That is, you will have to go to the brute force, which we discussed, by concatenating one character in a string, which will take linear time for each concatenation. Overall time will be quadratic. So that's why this is the best solution when it comes to Java, because in Java, the strings are immutable. So having said that, we are done with this problem. We will meet in a new video with a new problem. Till then, bye bye. Take care.